Around the holidays, one of my favorite things to do is to go to a white elephant party. Who does not love a white elephant party? Unless you get a really shitty gift. Welcome to the Film Threat Podcast. I am Chris Gore. Yes, I have attended many white elephant parties around the holidays. In fact, around the Film Threat team, we always get together to do a white elephant. We've done it a couple years in a row, not recently, but we get together and it's a chance for me to get rid of some of the garbage that sometimes collects. Sometimes there's always the good gift in the white elephant. There's always that like one thing where you're like, oh my God, somebody put that in a white elephant. And then there's something where someone is clearly trying to get rid of a crochet toilet paper holder or something that no human would ever want. Well, there is a new indie film comedy out now, and I have the director of White Elephant, the movie. Corey Moss is here to talk to us on the Film Threat Podcast. Corey, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Happy to be here.
It's, look, first of all, super fun film. A bunch of couples get together over the holidays. They're doing the white elephant. They're reliving white elephant parties from the past. The jokes are flying fast and furious. And obviously a white elephant party is probably what inspired this movie. So it is clearly that's where that came from. But tell me, like, in putting this together, like, there's just some, I feel like you hit the nail on the head of almost everything that happens at one of these parties.
Yeah, thank you. No, it's definitely partly inspired by real white elephants. My family had a big extended white elephant that we went to every year, and it was always super competitive. I have two brothers, and we were always scheming on how we were going to make sure we all got the best gifts. And, so I had that experience, and I think I always wanted to write a holiday movie, but I wanted to do something that hasn't been done before, which is pretty hard because there's 85 holiday movies a year on average made. So, I had never seen White Elephant done on film. And so that was kind of the impetus for it. And then, I'm really interested in that time in your life when you're becoming an adult, you're sort of mid to late 20s, I guess. And I don't feel like you see that a lot in movies either. And so it was kind of like, what happens if this was a white elephant exchange with that age group of people, and they're all facing those different things that you do in life at the time, like, whether or not you should be with that person, whether or not you should be having kids, buying a home, all of those types of things. And so that was kind of combining that and then raising the stakes of this white elephant. Like, this isn't your $10 gag gift white elephant. Like, they have a lot of rules, and they're big gifts. They take a lot of pride in it. So I knew that would elevate the movie, and then obviously there's a lot of big time plot points. So,
well, there's a lot of humor in it. Before we get to that, that's the thing that did really impress me about the film. It's like, okay, how is this going to sustain people doing a white elephant for an hour and a half? And there are some twists and drama revealed via some of the gifts. I don't want to give too much away, but there is palpable drama that occurs in the film. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit about like what went into choosing some of these gifts, because there are ones where you're like, oh my God, I wish that showed up at a white elephant. And then there's some stuff that's like that you're clearly having fun with. Tell me about crafting and putting together those.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, it's, I kind of had these two ideas, one of the white elephant and one of this, drama of this certain age group, but I didn't want them to be separate. I really wanted them to come together in one movie as much as possible. So, as I wrote it, I wanted the gifts to drive the plot. And, there's definitely that happening. And then some of the gifts are more just for fun. So the giant inflatable, bull ride thing was something I'd seen at my parents' lake and just was a funny visual and had always stuck with me. So that's where that came from. We made this movie during 2020 during the lockdown, and but we wanted the movie to be timeless and not feel like a lockdown movie. So there's very, very subtle references to it, and one of them is the massive amount of toilet paper that's given as a gift, and it's just, I think, anybody who lived through 2020 will kind of laugh at that, and then hopefully 50 years from now, seeing a massive amount of toilet paper will still be funny.
It's I think it's funny. It's almost a timeless joke for sure.
Yes.
What was there? Clearly, the actors and talent you put together for this, they looked like they were having a blast for sure. Was there a lot of improv with some of the? I mean, there were some one-liners that I'm like, what? Wait, what? Like that went by so quickly. I'm like, I need to go back to that. Tell me about what it was like to work with this cast.
Yeah, I mean, what an amazing cast. They were so incredible and so fun to work with. Like I mentioned earlier, we shot this during the pandemic, and we shot it a lot, either partially like a play and partially like a multi-camera sitcom. So we rehearsed a lot. We did about 10 virtual rehearsals, and really got the cast memorizing the entire movie. So by the time we got to set, we could do huge chunks of the movie, like you would a play almost. And so during those rehearsals, we'd go for an hour or something and then stop, and then we'd all end up staying on Zoom for like another hour hanging out, and the friendships really formed over that. So by the time we got on set, everyone was so excited to see everybody in real life, having sort of formed this Zoom friendship with everybody, and that made it a really nice experience. But so because we all were so the cast was so memorized, there wasn't a lot of improv, because everyone, we do these scenes in huge chunks, and but the one thing that was very improvised is, I told Nathan, whose character Billy is kind of a pun fanatic, that he could come up with puns on his own, and boy did he. So I'd say about half of the puns in the movie were in the script, and the other half he came up with, and obviously we used a bunch more in the end credits too. But other than that, it was not too improvised. But a lot of the blocking, I mean, typically, like, every a movie would be really blocked, especially with 8 characters and all of these things happening. But and we kind of went into this shoot thinking that it would be that way, and then we ended up just kind of letting the cameras really roam, and letting the characters really just sort of naturally move as you would in a white elephant, and so I think that helps it feel a little looser.
It totally works, and the puns. Just as a fan of puns and dad jokes, I just totally bonded with that. Every dumb pun joke landed with me. I don't know if it landed with anybody else, but definitely landed with me. When you make a holiday movie, like, you really are, I can see people like revisiting or seeing interest in this movie amplified, of course, around December. Does that feel a little bit of weight of like, oh wow, I'm making a holiday movie. This has got to, if it lands, people are watching this every December.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious advantage of it, and the disadvantage is being that then the other 10 months of the year or whatever, there's no interest. But I love having a built-in interest, and I think there's so many that are done every year. It's hard to stand out, and I think this movie is really unique in that they're just, there's no snow, there's no Santa Claus, there's no princess, there's no small town cozy hotel. It's really just the things that I love about Christmas movies, which is great holiday music, friends and family being together, and then hilarity ensues, and presents. I mean, everyone loves presents.
Presents is the best part. And family. Presents is the second best part. What am I saying? Corey Moss, thank you so much for joining us on the Film Threat Podcast, and enjoy your this year's White Elephant with your family. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Yes. We definitely upped our game last year after everyone having seen this movie. And so this year, I expect it to be even bigger. So thanks for having me on, Chris. I really appreciate it.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.